that the psychological advantage stays in the Alabama camp until proven wrong. We saw a monumental win by Michigan and Jim Harbaugh, so it can happen. But of course, Nick Saban has owned this rivalry against Georgia, even though most of the games have been excruciatingly close.
Yeah, 6-1 against them since he has been in Alabama. The only loss was in overtime in 2007, his very first season. So, yeah, he's had Georgia's number. We know that. But, again, you see teams that are – I always say, Mark, and we may have talked about this, when you're good enough long enough, eventually you're going to kick that door in. You know what I mean? Teams that flash every now and then have a remarkable season but aren't consistently good. It comes and it goes. Georgia has been consistently good since Kirby got there. I mean, they won 8 games his first year. In the last 5, they won double figures every year, played for a national championship, won a couple SEC titles. I mean, they're really good. And like with Michigan against Ohio State, Jim Harbaugh just kept pecking away. It wasn't like they had been bad. They just couldn't beat Ohio State. But this year was their time. It was their year. And they didn't just beat Ohio State. They handled them. I would not be surprised if Georgia wins this game by double digits. In fact, I'm going to predict Georgia to win it by 10. And not because Alabama's a bad team. Alabama's a very good team. But I just think Georgia's better. I think it's their time. They have been so close. Again, I go back to 2008. I was in Atlanta when Alabama lost in the fourth quarter to Tim Tebow in Florida that year. Tebow just ripped their hearts out there in the fourth quarter. But Alabama used that to fuel them. And the next year, even though Florida was number 1 and unbeaten, Alabama was number 2 and unbeaten. Alabama, it was their time. I think this is Georgia's time. I think they're going to be too much for Alabama. But Alabama won't lay down. Like you said, not with Nick Saban coaching and not with Bryce Young at quarterback and a defense that, let's be honest, they have had some issues this year, but they held Auburn to 158 or 9 yards total in the game and really dominated in the second half. So that gives Alabama some hope too, because it's not like Georgia is the type of team that's just going to run away from you scoring points. Now, they're very good on offense. They're great at what they do. Stetson Bennett is exactly the kind of quarterback they need. That's why they haven't gone back to JT Daniels, because Stetson Bennett, I think, is the best quarterback for that team. And Kirby Smart knows that, regardless of what other people think. So it's not like Georgia's bad on offense, but they're not as explosive as some other offenses that Alabama's played against. So you just hope, if you're an Alabama supporter, that you can hang into the game, get Georgia in the second half, where maybe Stetson Bennett then has to throw the football. And they have to, they've dictated terms the entire year, playing out front, grinding you down, running the ball. If they get behind in the second half, how will they respond? We don't really know. So that's what you're hoping for if you're Alabama. But I just think Georgia's too much. I think it's their time again, and I think they'll cash in on Saturday.
And I think a lot of that evaluation of JT Daniels better than Stetson Bennett has more to do with recruiting ranking and people not being able to get that out of their mind. 5-star got to be better than the 3-star.
Yeah,
so
bigger
he should
arm.
be the starting quarterback.
Yeah.